is the this is the this
Greetings. This is the view from Red Room. It's a very bleak view, very bleak view today, January. Oh, this is what constitutes day, which is why we all need a daylight lamp. So, yeah, I am halfway through doing Biggy Marine, aka McFarlane Space Marine, that I'm space wolfing up, because I have a bit of an obsession with the old wolfie boys. And yeah, I recently sold some wolfen on eBay, and the person that bought them wants to understand the sort of process I go through making these models and painting them and getting the armour as I do. So yeah, let's go through that, because even though we're halfway through doing this, it's the perfect time really actually to, yeah, sort of discuss the whole thing. And yeah, we were going over washes and, yeah, how to shade shadow grey. Sorry, the fang. I, like a lot of people, I'm a millennial that yeah, played this in the 90s, or not really played it very much, but painted certainly from a very early age in the 90s, and yeah, left the hobby sometime in the early noughties, and I am still stuck in that kind of era, and that's how we that's what we called it back then. Sorry, the fang. And yeah, I recently got an airbrush, and that's enabled me to do this sort of thing, because good God, I wouldn't want to be painting this with a paintbrush. So anyway, let's get cracking. And yeah, wet palettes. Another thing I knew nothing about until returning to this. Absolutely life-changing things. Okie dokie, so yeah, we have started off with the base of the fang. And yeah, I very quickly went from going, why in God's name would you go through the trouble of decanting all of these into dropper bottles, to realising when you have an airbrush, this is essential, this makes life so much easier. So yeah, think about doing it. Is not that difficult, but reasonable cost involved if you want to get things quickly and not sent from China. But yeah, worth it, I think, and it makes life easier on the wet palette too, so yeah. So as I say, we started off base coat of the fang. We put a wash of blue wash in. In fairness, that's a very old school 90s colour that I have from either my childhood or teens or something. And yeah, we use that to just wash into the recesses of it. Gives a bit of definition. And we do have a few scratches and everything. I will say I got to learn to handle these big models a bit more carefully when I'm painting them. Oh well. But what we're going to do now is we're going to mix up a mixture of the Fang and Rust Grey to give us our first highlight. You can see that this is kind of the beginnings of the highlight there on the legs, but that's the only bit we've done, so we're going to get on with the rest of it. Bloop. Bloop. Oh, it's so much easier to do it that way. Oof. And yeah, using a nice Rosemary & Co brush. And yeah, the big headache that has always existed with the Fang, aka Shadow Grey, is that it dries quite a bit darker than it goes on, so you may find it a bit of a struggle to get your blends exactly how you want them, because it can be quite deceptive. And obviously on a model this big we'd like to be subtle. Whether or not we'll achieve it. Let's see what we think of that. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. Yeah, we're going to do obviously reasonably broad highlights with this first sort of intermediate highlight, because yeah, that's the idea, that we're going to use less and less of the one above it and then the one above that to create a nice graduated effect. So I've done quite a reasonable amount of sculpting on this thing. This is not a patch on that utterly amazing Thousand Suns marine that's on it's on YouTube. I forget the name of the guy, or the channel rather. But it's a hated foe of Ross. It's annoying, but that's a beautiful bit of work. And yeah, his Chaos Space Marine as well, wowzers. But yeah, I've done a bit. I've done a little bit. Next time we will do much more sanding in preparation before we prime the damn thing, because I'm not massively happy with the finish we've got, but live and learn. And yeah, seriously, get a wet palette. I'll have to, yeah, get some photographs of my old desk from back in the day, which was literally my palette, the whole thing. Oh wow. Wow, wow, wow. And it made doing anything like this so hard because, yeah, everything dries so quickly. And yeah, I wish I'd disassembled this entirely. I was a bit too timid. And now I think I made it a little bit of a nightmare for myself, but never mind. But yeah, I used epoxy sculpt for this. I haven't used it before. Yeah, it's pretty good, but I mean, be honest, for the price tag, milliput would do you just fine. Green stuff too, but it's just, it tends to be, well, so I wouldn't buy it from Games Workshop at the price. Yeah, you only get little bits, so maybe not greatly appropriate for a project such as this. Right, okay. Righty. I keep this short and sweet. We'll just go around, just focus on the legs, because otherwise I'm going to go off on one, and yeah, it's going to go on for 3 hours, and that's no good for anybody. So let's do, curse you. Do I really need you? No, I don't. Well, whatever. Oh, but aesthetically I like it. I'm putting it back on. Oh, what a donut, eh? So yeah, we're just going to do a layer of rust grey now. We might do a bit of blending between the two if we feel we need to. So yeah, as I say, we're going to do less of this than we just did. And of course there's going to be some neatening up going on. These bits I like to do reasonably quickly and then worry about the tidying up later. I may not quite have done enough of the other one, so we will correct that now, I think. This is the trouble. Sometimes I'm a bit too conservative. That made me jump. Yikes. Yeah, this is where it can become quite confusing. You can think, oh my god, it all looks exactly the same colour. What the hell's going on here? But give it a minute and it will slowly dry and darken down, and you go, oh. It is quite annoying, that. And yeah, I'm not being too worried about my brush hygiene because, you know, if it all blends together, it's not necessarily the end of the world because it's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve anyway. So yeah, the essentials of modelling these days, I'd say, would be a decent daylight lamp, which I would not be able to do this without, I'd argue, on a day like today when, oh my goodness, yeah, not a lot of difference between night and day. And yeah, not only that, stops colour distortion and all that jazz. And yeah, wet palette and an airbrush if you can afford it and you got the setup for it. Because wow, that has changed my life. I can't wait to get on to do some big tanks and stuff now that I would have dreaded doing before. So yeah. Maybe we're going to do a little intermediate thing. Now if this was a more normal sized, normal scale model, you know, along the lines of yeah, these two boys, I probably wouldn't go into this so much because there's only, yeah, there's only so much you can do with this kind of blending on a small model before it becomes a bit pointless. And again, everything looks completely the same colour and you think, So yeah, just coming between the two. The two different shades. There's a point where you just got to have faith in the process as well. When you put the Mars highlight on, it will probably tie a lot of it together. Yeah, these bits need to be a bit bigger, I think. Righty. Yes, something like that. Drat on. Over there. And then yeah, our final highlight. Shall come from Fenris in grey, which I can't see one to call Space Wolves grey, but it isn't. Those times are gone. And yeah, this is where we're going to talk about. This is more edge highlights now. This is, yeah, where we want to be a bit more crisp and precise. I hope all of this is visible. Obviously I'll deal with the insides of this when I do the back of the leg. It's one thing that you've got to constantly remember with an articulated model that, yeah, might look okay from one angle, but bend it another way and oh. But yeah, it's been a good learning experience, this. Oh yeah, that'd be the other thing, the other essential thing, new thing that I've learnt. Brush cleaner. Get it. The Masters, yeah, brush cleaner and preserver, really, really good stuff. And it means you can keep brushes going for a lot longer. I used to buy a fine detail brush every weekend. Because I would paint exclusively using fine detail brushes, which is, oh god, quite arduous at times. And yeah, they wouldn't last long being treated the way they are. And I know I still have some of those tendencies. But at the same time, if you're too scared to use your brush for anything, then is it worth having? But yeah, treat your Kalinsky sable brushes well though, because yeah. They're expensive and they're fur and all that. So yeah. Sometimes you may need to do a second coat with this stuff because it is a little bit thin perhaps. And yeah, I need to neaten up where I've shaded. I should say I've also put glass beads in these bottles so I can easily shake them up and mix things up. Apologies for that, we had a visitation from my partner, so yeah, let's get back on with this. Anyway, we're going to, yeah, just use a bit of shadow, see, the fang, to, yeah, ease these blends, these shaded bits, neaten things up. And there's our little friend Luna, our little girl, our little pussycat, our little moonbeam. Hello, sweetie. Meow. That's telling me it's time to stop all this and pay attention to her. Because after all, she is the most important thing in the world. So yeah, let's see if we can smooth this transition a bit too. And obviously my style is a dark kind of take on the Spaceballs armor. Sweet one! Meow. I think that's a hangover from, yeah, well, we've all done it, looked at the box art, seen what they've said, how they've painted it, and gone, oh right, okay, well, shadow grey, it must be that then. And I stuck to that idea so religiously that yes, it became something of my sort of signature style, to be quite dark and only use Fenrisian grey and that sort of stuff for highlighting. Meow. Oh dear. Don't neglect your pussycats, people. Okay. There'll be a lot more to it than that, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Cheers, thank you, and goodbye.